All right, welcome back to the Mosaic of Broken Dreams. We left you last week talking about this planet here, and I talked about the Trinity room, but I don't always do things so serious. Here we are in the garden, and oh, there's a fire on the mountainside. The helicopters are coming in, and who knows what's going to happen next. And sometimes a person just needs to be cheered up. And man, gardening is a dangerous process. I cut my eye gardening. The macadamia nut tree scratched my eyeball. I got to cover it up, so I'm not trying to look like a pirate for Halloween. I'm just an injured gardener. But hey, John McGill and David Dennis are here with stories and songs on a Friday night. And I thought I'd take a look at some of my mosaics that aren't made of broken dreams. Let's walk away from the prayer wheel and the chrysanthemums. Look at all the beautiful flowers coming and going. It's beautiful October here in the desert. Here's my sundial, my duck that makes the sundial, but I wanted to talk today about these mosaics. Here's one. I call these the ancient city. I mean, sometimes I sing those old hymns like, "Four gates to the city, hallelujah." But I've only made 3 of them so far, but they're the ancient city, and they have this road that part of it is like, follow the yellow brick road. And well, it's not made of broken dreams in the sense that this isn't loved material. Nobody loved these tiles. They're just scraps left over from somebody's kitchen. And some scraps left over from a table I made in red, yellow, and blue elemental colors, and I just started building them. And I even thought of like old stories about ancient cities, or Jacob on his travels building his Ebenezer's stone towers, and I started building these things, and there it was, the yellow road. And in the desert, when you're in a city, often all you see is these little bits of blue sky coming. But well, I made this one a few years ago. It was when I finished the Trinity, and I wanted to make it have a living frame. Instead of being a framed artwork, it would be framed in plants. And it took a while to get these plants to grow like this, but here's the living frame. And then, oh, look at this. Ah, I love it when they bloom, these pentagonal. They look like space pods, and the roots hanging down, and the road into the ancient city. A sun-bleached desert city. So it took, and oh, there's all kinds of little flowers. Well, anyway, it still isn't completely framed, but I got some of the picture frame going, and then I switched and made a second one. If that was the ancient city by sunlight, this was the ancient city by starlight. And I started again, just carving scraps, not things that were loved, just tiles that had never been loved, just tiles that were tiles. And in fact, this one, I imagined that this was a rampart, or a window frame, that I was high up in a tower, and I was holding on to this window frame. And the window frame looked out over the city at night. And there were the stars, or sometimes I look at it and think of it like fireworks in the sky at night. Or, I don't know, here come the choppers to put out the fire again. And again, once again, I started growing these plants to go with it. But this one, of course, this is a newer one. It doesn't have a living frame, but it still has, there it is. There's the yellow brick road. See, you're high up on a hill, and you're looking, and you see that bridge with that yellow and red road, the same one that was in the first picture. There it is, gateway to the city. Just as this garden gateway is this is my gateway. It's a gateway of gateways. My gateways to the holy city, and this is my fruit orchard back there. There's my grapefruit tree, actually, and my sundial bricks. But these were to be cheerful. And look, in fact, this one I saw as, this is like the Presbyterian church in my little hometown in West Newton. There's a stone church. John McGill said he was once in that church. And it seemed so big when I was a kid, And when I put this one in here, I imagine sometimes a snowy night in New England. And there's that little Presbyterian church steeple in West Newton, Massachusetts, where I was a little kid. I would be like dragging my little sledding down the hill. But I don't know, this picture filled with memory, but it's just simple. Well, let's take a look at the third one. There's a third version of the ancient city that I made. Besides the ancient city I live in here in my... Here's the third version. Oh, you might notice that what is so lovely about mosaics, they're paintings a person can touch. They're warm in the sun. They glow and they're touchable. But this was the, of course, this is the ancient city by moonlight. And you can tell that it's almost sunrise. That crescent moon is pointed down at a sun that will be up in a few hours. In fact, I put a few red strips in there to be almost like dawn, before dawn. And even the water in the running under the bridge looks red, the blood red river, you know. And I don't know, I thought of this like 7 pillars of wisdom. Maybe I read too many books, but the crescent moon and the 7 pillars of wisdom and the golden cross. Actually, my mother tells the story that this is kind of a copy of a Coptic monastery in Egypt in some ways. The Christians in Egypt built these beautiful monasteries, and I've never been there, but my mother went there, and she was in a little monastery, and she saw a man in a robe tending a garden in that monastery in Egypt, and he looked so much like me, she couldn't tell whether it was her own son or an Egyptian Coptic monk. She said, and she walked up to him and she still couldn't tell. He was so much like me, it shocked her. And yes, he didn't even speak English. It wasn't me. But she said, I have a body double in a Coptic monastery in Egypt. And my mother described that. And I thought of these little towers around that Christian monastery out in that little oasis in the desert. And all these old desert themes got me thinking. It was about that time I used to go up and sing songs with John McGill. And I started writing Old Testament songs. But I decided that the people in the Old Testament were hillbillies. That Genesis, well, not all of them, just the people in Genesis. I thought, what do you notice about people in Genesis? Oh, they hate big cities, they're country people, and you got to get back to the country life to get away from the evils of big cities. And God wipes out all Sodom and Gomorrah, and later, you know, city after city leads to nothing but trouble for those chosen people in Genesis. And they never do anything but get back to their horses. Get away from people with horses. People with horses are always evil. All they have is goats and sheep and camels, and well, I started to write songs from the point of view of those people. In fact, I put these bells up here and I started to sing as if I was a character from Genesis. And this character, the first song I wrote like this was a stowaway on Noah's Ark. Some kid that was almost drowned, and he somehow managed. I thought maybe it wasn't just Noah and his family that got away on the ark. All those farm animals were herded on there. Of course, they were herding people. They wanted to have farm animals when they got off. But this is the story of a kid who doubted Noah. But, well, and I started by ringing these bells. It gave me this chord. And I thought, man, when floods come, when floods and fires come, they drive you away from your home. Man, there is a time when all you want is to never, ever leave your home. And when I have this garden, I never want to get away from it. So I started with this, never leave my home. I never want to leave my home. Never want to leave my home. And I sang, oh, green mountaintops, from you I hate to roam. I'll plant my trees on mountaintops and never leave my home. I never cared for boats that much. I come from mountain stock. I sold sweet hay to Noah to feed his growing flock. Then I headed on back to the hill country, to my garden's curving rows. Sit on those green mountain tops and watch my orchard grow. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. Plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. Well, Noah dried my apricots, stashed them in his ark. His warning sounded crazy, he had that mad dog bark. He told me of God's anger, I felt his fiery clutch. But I ran back to green mountain tops that floods can't never touch. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. Plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. Well, that old man has lost his mind, I told my faithful hound. When our house went underwater, man, we ran for higher ground. Rain lasted more than 40 days, it swept away my trees. Now even these green mountain tops are washed in angry seas. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. Plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. My hound and I climbed up into highest apple tree. We watched that muddy water fill with corpses and debris. We felt our tree roots breaking loose. We paddled like stray dogs till all of these green mountain tops vanished in the fog. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. Plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. Well, Noah's rudder snagged upon our floating apple limb. My dog and I were nearly drowned when old man hauled us in. Perhaps our fates have all been sealed like lips that God has kissed. And I think I see green mountain tops arising from the mist. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. Plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. Well, seasick and exhausted, I was first to disembark. When I saw a piece of my apple tree still clinging to the ark. Well, I stuck it in the ground, but Noah said, I need some wine. So he headed on down the holler to plant himself some vines. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. Plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. Now mountain folk drink cider, some take it pretty hard. But Noah loved them grapevines that grew up in his yard. The first year he made wine, you know, it tasted kind of green. But it made the old man dance a dance his boys all thought obscene. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. Plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. Well, Noah's naked dancing stirred up quite a family feud. He told his grandson Gomer his own father was a prude. Now you're splitting up the family, Grandpa, please don't take that chance. Now only on green mountain tops does Noah drink and dance. Green mountain tops, from you I hate to roam. I'll plant my trees on mountain tops and never leave my home. Well, slowly, apples grew back on them mountain tops up high. My hound could smell when Noah and his mule were passing by. He'd unload some skins of wine. You know, he'd call for as many musicians as he could get to show up. But Noah said, what happens up on these mountain, boys, Oh, we ain't gonna ever talk about that now. Green mountaintops, from you I hate to roam. I'll plant my trees on mountaintops and never leave my home. Oh, I hate to leave. Hate to leave. PTSD, man, makes us never want to leave. Noah had it bad. Had the bad PTSD after the flood. Welcome back to the Trinity Room. And now we'd like to have an original song by John McGill, When the Upside's Down.
And your whole world, it came unglued, and it ripped right in front of you. There is nothing that you can do when the upside's down. And you might have escaped the shame if you could only forget your name. But you know that time never heals the pain when the upside's down. You've tried, but you can't see reasons why those dreams don't have to die. When the upside's down, when the upside's down, when the upside's down, when the upside's down. So let the rain keep on pouring down, wash away what you might have found. Watch the angels fall to the ground when the upside's down. And hope to God He won't let you stay while the world gets to have its way with things that tears never wash away when the upside's down. And the days that shaped your heart in rage, but they seem like they were staged. And even the day is night, nothing is worth the fight. Heaven is far from sight, and even your lover's tears won't make it right. And your whole world, it came unglued, and it ripped right in front of you. It is lost from that point of view when the upside's down. And you know that until the shame, if you could only forget your name, know that time never heals the pain when the upside's down. And the days they shaped your heart in rage, sing like they were staged. When the upside's down, when the upside's down, when the upside's down, when the upside's down.
Woo! Yeah. Our boy John McGill. And I guess that's it from the Trinity Room for this Friday. And we'll be back next Friday with more songs and stories and whatever pieces of the mosaic of broken dreams we can gather up next. Thank you all.
See y'all later.
See you next week.